Hey authors, welcome back to Writer's Workshop. My name is Mrs. Lanning. So you authors know I have learned to love superheroes like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Thor. And so I was thinking about Spider-Man, and I know that y'all know Spider-Man has superpowers. He can swing from tall buildings, he can spin webs, and he can rescue people in danger. Well, the thing about Spider-Man is that when he puts on his Spider-Man suit, he's able to use all of his secret superpowers. And he has these powers all of the time, even when he's ordinary Peter Parker. But it's like when he puts on the suit, he becomes super. When Spider-Man swings around doing super things, he's using all of his powers. And boys and girls, writers do this too. We have powers, superpowers as writers. We don't sit around waiting for someone to tell us what to do. We can use all of our writing powers that we've already know and learned, just like Spider-Man uses his powers when he's fighting the bad guys. So, writers, I want you to join me for a moment. Before we take the role of being super writers, let's pretend like we are being helpless, whiny, don't know what to do, kind of like a Peter Parker regular world. So we're going to whine and act helpless as if though we have no idea what to do next, because I want to show you how silly this sounds when you have learned all of your writing superpowers. So we shouldn't be hearing this, but let's just role play it out. Here we go. Where's the paper? I don't have a pencil. I don't know. Can't think of what to write. I don't have any ideas. I don't know what to do. That sounded pretty ridiculous, didn't it? Because you're like, Mrs. Lanning, hello. Can you see? We have taught and learned tons and tons and tons and tons of time this year. What do you mean you don't know what to write out? What do you mean you don't know how to find a pencil? What do you mean you don't know how to find the paper? Hello, we've been doing this all year, practicing our superpowers, right? You writers know this, and I'm pretty sure you thought I sounded pretty silly, right? So same thing, we don't want to be sounding like that. That's just so silly because we have our writing superpowers, right? We have our writing superpowers. So writers, today we are going to do an investigation, are wondering. We're going to investigate an important question. And that question that we are going to ask is, what super writing powers do I have as a super series writer? So writers, you're asking yourselves, what strategies, what superpowers do I have to help me write? Maybe your superpower is to think of characters. Maybe your superpower is to tell the story in small steps. In fact, you should probably have a lot of superpowers, right? A lot of superpowers because we know a lot of superheroes have a lot of different powers. So, writers, this whole year you have been building up your collection of superpowers, all those different writing strategies, and we are learning how to continue to use those in our writing. So writers, I want you to close your eyes or maybe look around the room, whatever it is that you need to imagine in your head, all that you've learned about writing this year, all the strategies that you've learned. How do we describe a character? How do we describe a setting? How do we bring out what they're feeling in their heart and thinking in their head? How do we tell the story in small steps? Those are all superpowers that you have as writers. Let's create a list of more writing powers that you have. You know how to set goals. You know how to create pretend characters. You know how to create adventures for your characters to go on. You get your characters into trouble and you get them out of trouble, solving it and making sure you have a satisfying ending. You know how to unfreeze people. You know how to add tiny, realistic details. You know how to make chapters for your stories, and that's a pretty big kid skill. I'm super proud of you for that. You also know how to make patterns to stretch out parts. Remember how we saw Cynthia Rylant after she said a sentence? She restated it in 3 more specific details. We studied those mentor authors, and we learned how to spell the best we can. So writers, this is a huge list of superpowers. So the next time you catch yourself sounding like we did before, we said, I don't know what to do, being whiny, you might laugh and just say, oh my gosh, wait, that's so silly. I'm a super writer. I have super writer powers. I've been sitting through these lessons. I know what to do. I have superpowers. And you can get yourself started right away thinking about all that you know about writing. And I know that you are going to work like superstars today. Today and every day, remember that you have your super writing powers inside, and you can turn them on and get started with your writing to share the amazing stories that you have with the world. All right, boys and girls, I can't wait to see what you work on today and what superpowers you use in your series writing. It's your turn, friends. Writers go write.